use that in court, ladies and gentlemen. Please watch your kids. Watch your kids.
I've already made that joke twice.
That's the second time.
I know.
You have
That's
one
the third
more,
time.
and then
No,
it's
that's
not
the third
funny.
time. That's the third.
It's not funny anymore.
What?
That's rule 3s, baby.
Exactly.
Yeah, but I still got a... rule 3s. I've made it to 3. No
You
more.
made it to 3. So you're set. Jeff can no longer be a registered sex offender so long as Logan is the one declaring it.
Yeah, well, tell that to the judge.
Hi, everybody.
Your Honor.
Well, hey everyone, welcome to the MountainCast. It's me, Peter Nixon.
Jack Nicholson and...
Chokes on dick, son.
Actually, Peter Nixon sounds like the long lost son of one of our former most impeached presidents.
God rest his soul.
Was he impeached? He was impeached, right?
No.
Or no,
yeah.
he just left. Did he just leave? Nixon.
He wasn't removed from office. I believe he was
I-
impeached, though.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, because one time my sister told me that impeaching just means like that someone was like, "Hey,
You committed a crime.
Yeah. Which is
So,
like,
and then they have to be like, well, the
Just
court
to go
found me
slap
guilty.
him.
I've been impeached, but I'm still the president.
you've caught me.
Removed from office is completely different.
Yeah, that's a whole other thing. I always, like as a kid, I definitely thought those were the same thing.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, for the longest time, I still did too. And I think a lot of people have that same ideal. But he left office willingly. I don't think that's gonna happen this time around.
Willingly,
yeah,
anyway.
willingly is the key word there.
Yeah.
But I do agree. I mean, it's just, at this point, it's kind of like, oh, you got me.
I like the pause after that. Oh.
Well, how was your week, guys?
Well,
What's
my
been
week,
going on?
my week was pretty spanky, yanky, and wanky.
Yeah.
What did I even do this week? I know I did a lot of stuff. I edited a lot of videos.
You have been editing like a
Yeah,
good
we'll
boy
we've
lately.
got a lot of stuff coming up really soon because I'm actually doing my job.
Yeah, we've actually are starting to mold into that more streamlined schedule.
Yeah.
Dedicating a day or two to making like 18 videos at once.
As
Although I'm not entirely sure if that's the
I mean,
right
yeah,
number.
that's honestly, that'll be pretty close to what we're doing.
Oh, wow.
As for me, a squirrel jumped inside my body. Out feeding the squirrel. Squirrel jumped inside my body, wrapped my butt. Is currently piloting my body like a mech. A little bit like a SpongeBob plankton situation.
I knew
And-
something was off about him today.
Yeah.
Ah, gee.
I'm being run by a squirrel right now.
Well, can I just talk to Squirrel? I feel like I'd have a good...
Well, you are right now, actually.
Well, but can I talk to him, like, face to face?
Yeah, this is just some kind of like wall
you're-
that he's putting between us.
He's got a lot of social anxiety. Hence why he needed my body. But it's worse off because he already couldn't talk to squirrels because of his anxiety. Now he can't talk to squirrels because there's a big fucking dude pretending to be a squirrel.
Look at him, hiding behind his problems.
Gee.
Yeah.
But
right?
in
You
terms
tell
of
me.
things that we actually did this week, not to say that you're not actually a squirrel, that's probably 100% true.
We're just gonna leave that
the
alone.
squirrel butt plug is on the way. He wants to just convert me as much as he can.
But this boy graduated from college.
Whoa! He's the only one that made it out.
Yeah.
Only one that got a degree.
It's a very weird feeling for sure.
Yeah.
Especially with everybody else deciding that, hey, this is dumb. And I was just sitting here like,
Yeah.
okay, I don't know.
I mean, if we had like a Deadpool of like people who are going to graduate from college and get a degree, not a certification, or like people who are going to drop out, like I thought like maybe 2 or so others may have made it out, maybe.
Yeah.
I knew for a fact that our friend.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome.
That's
I'm
gonna be
getting
the
better
new-
at that. I'm getting better at that. At not naming, name dropping. One of our good friends with long hair. We knew he wasn't going to.
Yeah.
Because he's a bad boy and he's too sexy.
Free as the wind.
Most of our fraternal group, I didn't want to assume that they wouldn't make it, but let's be real. Let's be real about that one.
Well, I don't know. I think in this day and age, it's not that big of a surprise, nor is it like, a huge deal. I mean, yes, it's very helpful, and if you are already in school, stay in school.
Stay in school.
Finish your shit.
Do drugs in
I'm
school.
sorry.
Yeah, do drugs in school.
Yeah,
Obviously.
people often give like, don't do drugs, don't drop out of school, but what if you stayed in school and did drugs?
You
God.
can do both.
You can do both.
If you're good at it, I mean,
Yeah.
the sky's the limit. But no, I mean, in all seriousness, I mean, being the only one to be in school, and now being the last one out of like the people we know, it's kind of in a weird position.
Yeah.
Because I feel like that you guys have had like the experience of kind of like living in the world outside of school, how eventful or uneventful that may be. But you know, here I'm just now suddenly realizing like, oh my god, there's so much stuff to do now. And I
Right.
just like feel like I'm a little kid whose parent let go of their hand in the middle of the street. So
I like being left alone in the middle of the street because then I can play catch with all the cars.
Yeah. I like being left alone in the middle of the street because that means that there's no one to stop me. No more shackles. Fucking. It's kind of weird to be like sort of let loose into the world after you like have a dedicated goal for so long, and then you have like a sort of now what moment. You know?
yeah, it's just suddenly mission accomplished in a fraction of a second.
Yeah. And then you're just sitting around like, all right, I could do this. I can move to another state. I can move to another country. I could be an amateur pornographer, like really
Always
amateur.
considering. I mean, we got the room.
We do.
We got the
We
room.
got the couch.
We
got
got the
the
ambience.
We've probably got a few actors. Let's
Yeah.
be real here.
Oh yeah, 100%.
We know an alpaca. It'll be all right. That's not a name drop.
It's not a name drop, but it is a hilarious reference that I appreciate.
Hilarious reference. Fucking, I don't know, maybe. That is weird to think about, like, as a side note. Like, I'll go ahead and hook a fishing line into this comment so that we can come back to it. But do you
I
ever,
mean,
like,
we're
stop
still
and
on it.
realize that we could, like, set up the lights and everything, mic, get, like, someone with a big stomach to, like, film us, and, like, we could just, like, start an amateur fat pudge boy porno channel?
I mean, that was like, because like literally when I was starting this channel, like whenever I would talk about it with anyone, they would be like, "So you made the porn room?" And I'd just be like, "Ha ha ha! I haven't heard that joke already."
Yeah. Like, oh man, how did you know? Whoa.
You made that one up
Wow.
on the spot. What?
Wow. I'm just saying, it's not like we know hot girls that are willing to do that.
Whoa! I don't like the way that you emphasized willing in that sentence.
Not like we're gonna force them. I just mean like we're gonna ask them and they're gonna say no, and we're gonna say okay.
Yeah.
But we know girls that are willing. It's just that they would want to see those girls.
Speaking of
Same with guys.
Yeah. Plus, no one on the internet wants
Gender
to see this
inclusive.
weenie. So
no,
I mean, I wouldn't.
They would want to see it only for scientific and religious reasons.
Yeah. I mean, in the same regard, I only have sex in the missionary position for procreational purposes only.
With the lights on.
With the lights on.
with
Yes,
the lights
of
on.
course. That's the only way to do it.
And
under
we're
the
talking about-
blanket. Under the blanket
Yep,
as well.
consensual
We're
sex
talking
in the
about that
missionary position
overhead-
for procreational purposes only. That's my kink.
But overhead, nasty lighting, very, very thick and hot comforters that you're laying under.
It's actually like soap opera sex, you know.
Oh,
Yeah,
On
I like to be sweating as much as possible. Really, because I like to give them a shower
Mm-hmm.
as I'm going.
And if they're on top, well, they like to sleep on a waterbed.
Yeah, I hope they like a
Oh.
waterbed. Also, I one of my dream beds. Quick side thing. Cause do you have a dream bed like if
Oh,
you had to
100%.
picture like an ideal bed? So I have two dream beds. One that
100%.
I'd have to have both in my house depending on my mood. But one, I want like some really smooth like silky sheets,
Mm-hmm.
and I want it to be a water bed so that when I get into it, I just feel like I'm sleeping in like a river.
Mm-hmm.
But then I want like a full like memory foam Tempur-Pedic like bed that's just like wherever I touch it, I just like sink in.
Those are amazing.
I can't deal with memory foam
Dude, I love
mattresses. They just like they take too long to get comfortable, and you gotta like wait a hot second, then you sink in, and then you're comfy. But I've had like the memory foam pillows, and they're just like too firm. I like to be as flat as possible, so I like a nice firm bed. As far as like the rest of the bed, magnets.
I'm
Do you
kind
sleep
of.
on your back?
I start out on my back, and then I like, all right, now it's really game time. Sleep on my side.
I always
Yeah.
sleep on my side. I always end up sleeping on my right side.
I usually fall asleep on my left side, which is like sort of a conscious decision because I read at one point in time that if you sleep on your left side, it's better for digestion.
Yeah.
And I have enough bad habits as is, so like,
Yeah. Well, it's because of the
So it is.
it's because like the tube on your stomach goes up to a specific side of your stomach. It doesn't go directly like
yeah,
in the
like
middle.
in the middle.
Yeah.
So like complex.
Yeah. So if you're like got an upset tummy, it has to like reach up and over to get to the sweet spot.
But I always wake up on my stomach.
Mm-hmm.
Like like pretty much no matter what. I mean, my head will still be tilted to the side, which is probably going to lead to a lot of neck problems in the future. But I usually end up on my stomach.
I couldn't do it. For some reason, especially like during this time of year, my allergies are so bad that I have to mouth breathe. I don't know if y'all have to mouth breathe. It's literally the worst thing in the world.
I mean, I get that way when I'm sick or anything. Not really so much from allergies.
I only have to mouth breathe when I'm like working or like working out because I just need the extra oxygen intake. Otherwise, I'm like suffocating myself and my brain become dumb.
I feel that.
Because of all the boogers in my nose.
Yeah. But that's my problem, right? Especially like in the middle of the spring, it's one of those things where, so I sleep on my side.
Yeah.
But the problem with that in allergies is that you feel like you have like a tube of water in like your nostril, and then when you like, and you can't breathe out of it, but then I'll like try to like turn to the other side, and it just like slithers to the other side.
Oh,
and so
it's the worst. You could like feel it slither too.
Yeah,
like, I've done that too.
And I grew up in a family where dental health is pretty pristine, so I sit there and I'm like, I don't want to sleep with my mouth open. Please, I don't want the spiders to crawl on my tummy. But lo and behold, here we are, and I am miserable. But
well, Jeff, I got good news for you. The spiders don't really crawl in your tummy.
What? They don't?
No,
What?
That's actually funny and ironic how that was created. Someone wanted to prove a hypothesis.
Hypothesis.
That's the one.
Hypothesis that the internet can be used to spread lies very easily. So the first lie ever started on the internet was that you eat spiders in your sleep.
No.
Spiders have some sort of instinctual thing that says, hey, it's wet and sticky and this is a dude. Alright, I shouldn't go in his mouth where he can eat me. Like, that's just evolution right there. You're not going to do that.
Also, most spiders are just fairly docile in general, so, like...
Yeah.
They probably would be trying to avoid you in the first place, just in general.
I mean, earwigs will still crawl in your ear, and centipedes will crawl in your asshole. I have history of that.
Oh, man, real quick, though, speaking of bugs and beds, can we tell the story of when we were living in the...
Oh, and I was the only fucking asshole to get
Oh my god. So, yeah, Logan and I, when we were still in college, we were living in our fraternity house at the time. Won't say who, even though, But,
the dark sider Phil.
But one summer night, Logan and I, we live up in the attic part of the house, and we started to hear like these weird like chirping sounds or whatever.
Yeah, it sounded like I thought it was the house settling or something, but
yeah.
It was like borderline like that can't be it.
Yeah, so I forgot how we ended up getting down there, but us and a couple roommates went outside, and we not only saw a bat that flew over somebody's head, like really close.
Yeah, it was a horde of bats.
But because
it was like a haunted house.
At like the second floor of the house, there's just this giant hole where these bats have been living in.
Oh.
So we're sitting there like, oh god. And I don't know what they're called, but inside the house, like along like the creases of the floor and the wall, there's like the ventilation system.
Yeah.
Where like, ventilation.
We call that the house pussy.
Yeah, that's the name.
That's the
proper name.
That's the carpenter's term.
But I mean, it was for me. I was terrified. I'm sure a lot of us were scared because bats, as we learned you have especially learned a couple days later.
Oh yeah, no, I love bats usually though. Like I think they're just little flying puppies.
Yeah.
So I'm not afraid of bats. It's just these ones like screwed me over, man.
Yep. So we wake up one day, and I think I had a couple like bites and stuff like that, but you came out of your room.
I was like measles, like covered
in holes.
And these were, if you get bit by a mosquito, you get lumps and stuff. But like if you get by a bad mosquito, you'll have a lump with some pus scab.
What do they call them? Like bat bugs?
Bat bugs. They're bed bugs that come on bats. And these bugs, unlike the other bites, they when they bite you, not only do they lump up, but they itch twice as much, and they definitely scab as they corrode a crater into your skin.
Yeah, it is some nasty stuff. Luckily, we got it fixed and everything, though. But
yeah, but like a couple of days too late. Like, I swear to God, I woke up a couple of nights with those bastards, like, crawling over my thighs and shit.
Oh my god, no.
It was
Jesus Christ.
Worst.
No.
I, like, just the other day, the craziest thing. So I was super paranoid about earwigs, and like it freaks me out so much now because one time when I was living in Colorado Springs, I was just like, I was sleeping, so I was like chilling, in bed, all like, whatever, as you do. And finally, I like wake up and I look over, and the first thing I see when I wake up is like on the wall right next to my bed was an earwig.
Oh.
And I was like freaking out like for so long, like I'd like you get like ear itches and like you feel like you hear something in your ear. Every single time for like the next like year, it like anytime that happened, I would just freak out.
I'm not surprised.
Well, yeah, you'd like wake up and you stand up and be like you are fully conscious and everything. Like, I don't know what the human body says about like there's an earwig nearby, but I think earwigs are like you can like smash a spider with your hand and be fine. It's not gonna bite you. But earwigs got those like pinsy little assholes that might be able to like come up and
just get
sting
a last
you.
minute little thing.
Yeah, they're not gonna go down without a fight for sure.
I'm always one to just like get something else and crush whatever bug. I don't crush spiders because I respect spiders too much.
Yeah, I like to poke spiders. It's
like
fun
to-
because they freak out.
See, I like to blow on them a little bit and then just make them go different directions.
Yeah.
I'm too scared to touch them.
I will go out of my way to save bees. Like, if there's
yeah,
one, like,
yeah.
dying on the ground, I'll be like, I got honey. I actually did that. Like, I got a spoonful of honey.
Save the bees, y'all.
Save the bees.
Save the bees.
Save the bees.
Save the bees. Illuminati, save the bees.
Did you actually hear? I don't know if this is real or not, but didn't somebody like Morgan Freeman donate like a chunk of owned land or something to bee farms or?
No,
Someone-
that was Bin Laden.
Yeah.
That was his
That was his
son.
final act as he was getting shot. He was trying to.
He was
he was
watching
trying to
Naruto.
save the bees, and then
He was eating pizza,
SEAL
watching
Team-
Naruto, and saving the bees.
SEAL Team
And they
6
shot
dropped
this
him.
old man. It's a conspiracy.
He was sitting there. He was like, "Yes, we're going to. I really hope that the government doesn't call us because of this."
Secret Service. I don't think Bin Laden was eating pizza. There we go.
Yeah,
We're
you
safe.
go. There you go.
He
We're
was
safe.
watching Naruto though.
He was watching Naruto, and he was trying to save bees.
That's actually a fact though. Is that Bin Laden had an extensive collection of Western and Eastern animation and movies. Naruto DVD was one of them, which means for a fact that at one point
Bin Laden
the
was a
mastermind who orchestrated 9/11 probably ran like Naruto as a joke.
Not even as a
Down
joke.
the
He did
hall.
it. He did it for cereal.
He's like an old man. He's like,
I will gain speed. That's unbelievable.
Respect to my Islamic brethren.
Yeah, no disrespect to anyone, but I mean, come on.
Except for
Dude, was
bats. Bats can get disrespected.
Dude was like blew up a lot of shit and killed a lot of people. He wasn't a good dude. I feel like
Did he?
I feel like that's
When?
yesterday. He called me and told me all about it.
Do you not remember?
Well, I wasn't supposed to forget.
Ah, you fool!
That's the Are you an American citizen test. Hey, do you remember? Do you remember? Remember what? Remember what? Get out of my country! Be gone!
I feel like that's also like the I have a bad taste in humor sort of joke is like, hey, have you heard? Haven't you heard? And then if they say that the bird is the word, then you can say, you're not my friend anymore. You watch Family Guy, which means you are not my friend.
That ruined that joke for me.
I-
The Family Guy.
I never watched Family Guy, but this one time there was a.
Sorry, everyone, we just traveled dimensions. Anyways, Nick, you were saying?
Well, this is an alternate dimension, so I think I was talking about
Wig ears.
wig ears.
Yeah, wig ears. That's actually what they called them. We were in the alternate dimension for 200 years, so wig ears is what they called
Yeah,
them.
we're used to saying.
That was
wig
that was actually the only difference, other than everyone's gender was swapped.
ears
Yeah.
now. I found gender swapped me. I
Yeah.
made sweet love to her for a fortnight.
And
Hey, congrats, man. I'm glad you love
did,
yourself.
It did technically cause the universe to collapse, but
Like by technicality, but it was only once we see the thing they never tell you in sci-fi movies is it doesn't happen until you break contact after that.
well, I've
So
found
as long as we stayed touching like that whole time, we were good.
yeah, what you guys did for a fortnight.
For a fortnight.
That's
2 weeks.
That's 2 weeks. So Jeff and I did have a separate thing to say is how scary the fucking the public broadcast like warnings are, like sounding and everything.
Okay, yeah. I have I don't know if you call it a phobia, but I'm sure you said it too. It makes me very uneasy to hear those emergency broadcast recordings over the radio.
I do too. It's a very specific one. It's what we call an irrational fear. There's very few rational fears. Like getting shot, that's pretty rational to
That's
be
pretty
afraid
fine.
of. And like wolves and shit. Like the two like most human ones are loud noises and falling. Like no matter what, every human on the planet is going to be afraid while they're falling. Every human's going to be afraid if there's a jump scare. Like
Yeah.
it's just us. That's how humans work.
It
But
happens. It happens.
but one of my irrational ones that's also like that is I'm afraid of white text on a black background with mostly no sound or discomforting sound with a negative message. So those fucking things scare the shit out of me. And what also scares me is that for the longest time I thought the guy speaking was a real person. It's a robot voice with modifications to
Yeah.
it.
Oh, that's cool.
I did not know that. I thought it was a real dude like reading off something. No, it's just computer text, voice, text to voice.
You can really toy with that thing.
Oh, it
But
scares me.
what was that channel called again? Do you remember?
It goes on all channels, Jeff. No, I'm kidding. He's talking about. It's the creator of Candle Cove created a YouTube series, channel something, where it would have like intermediate like PSAs that are. They're the definition of tension. It's like The Shining style of tension. Like, no jump scares, no nothing. It's fear in a completely different manner, and it is beautiful.
Maybe that's
how
why, I think that's
scary
why
it
it was so scary, because I don't know about you. I've never
Channel
seen
32?
something like that before.
Like local Channel 32 or something?
I don't know, man.
Something like that, because
Yeah.
it was imitating an actual
PSA.
yeah to a T.
Yeah.
To a T.
It one of them is like it was like a little warning that said meteorological effect, please don't look at it. And then it like goes into like, all right, and coming up at 3 a.m. the blood of the and then it blanks out and is like, all right, we're upgrading this. Don't go outside. Don't look at the moon. Or like, don't view anything. Just stay inside. And then it like cuts out completely. Views the moon for a little bit.
But you can hear like
Screaming.
thousands of people screaming, and it's just like
I think you showed me these. Like,
Yeah.
they are pretty scary.
Yeah.
pretty gnarly.
And then it's like the one guy that's like in the office in the editing bay that hasn't been affected, and he's like, if you could read this, look at the moon. And then he like highlights his text because part of it's like being blocked out, and then it says, don't look at the moon. It's, dude, it actually is giving me chills right now just thinking about it.
It's like we were talking about horror like in the other podcast. It's something new about it.
That'll be like the title of this podcast. It'll be like wig ears, bees, and don't look at the moon.
Don't look at the moon.
Don't look at the moon. Don't look at the moon.
Well, I was gonna say, I like in on the subject of irrational fears, I am irrationally afraid of water, like just
What?
like being in water, like just like bodies of water, honestly, because like
So
so as a kid, my grandpa had a boat, and I remember like one time I was like got the tide took me way too far out from the boat, and like I was like panicking, like just trying to tread water until like someone could get out and get me, and so that was freaky. And then like at like 2 different birthday parties that were like little at like the pool, I like inhaled a bunch of water and like had to like cough it all out and freaked out a bunch.
Jeez,
And
yeah.
then when I went to the ocean for the first time, then I was messing around and one of the waves got me and slammed my head against the bottom and then like just washed me up, and I got like a bunch of salt water in my eyes. And so me and water just don't get along.
Jesus.
Poseidon is trying to kill me.
Yeah, Neptune and Poseidon are planning something.
What about
For
now?
those
Would
of
you
you-
ever go back?
I mean,
Sorry, I
like,
have to know.
I would still go back and like chill on the beach, but like I don't like going into water that much.
What about going to Waterworld, our local Colorado themed water park?
See, I can deal with Waterworld because it's like rides, okay? Because like you go on rides and it's like shallow water for the whole time, and you're like on a tube for most of them, and like that floats, so you're like it's safe, and there's like it's not too deep in any of the pools.
And at such affordable prices, how could you not? Grab a can of Pepsi and get $10 off your next purchase of a ticket for children. But see, I think I'm fine in water because I'm fat and that floats.
I was about to say, I am the exact opposite. I'm from Florida, so obviously
Right.
I've been surrounded by crazy people, bath salts, and the ocean. And I don't know, I swear, if reincarnation was a thing, I totally would have been a fish in a previous life. because me and the water are great friends. So I'll try to put in a good word for you. Be like, hey,
Cannot relate.
leave him alone. You know, he's cool. He's
He's just trying to chill, you know.
he's one of the guys. Just relax, Poseidon.
Yeah.
Relax, P-Man.
Relax, Neptune, the DC equivalent of Poseidon.
I mean, also the Roman equivalent of the Greek.
No, that's what I mean.
Oh.
Yeah. What was the Namor?
Namor? Yeah, that's
Yeah,
like
That's
like
Marvel
Marvel's
equivalent of Aquaman.
of Coquelin, yeah.
Yeah, Aquaman is stronger, but Namor is a
Namor
man.
kisses more beautiful, beautiful blonde boys.
And he also kind of doesn't exist in the MCU as of right now.
Yeah, which I mean,
Yeah,
What a loss.
I see why. Fucking it is kind of weird, like thinking about how like also just side note is that before like we traveled to the universes and I got to shake hands with the female version of the president, Donna Trump. Yeah, it was very weird. She shouted at me. She had huge fake tits.
huge.
Yeah, she said like huge fake tits.
Crazy Botox.
You crazy, only the craziest fake tits. Did you get the time on the video?
What do you mean the time? Yeah, we were at 20 minutes before.
Alright, cool. Just measuring that out in my head. Is that it's kind of weird how like Roman gods are kind of the DC universe of like Greek gods, because like Greek gods are way Jesus! It's like it's kind of ironic because all of the original copycat characters on DC came first before Marvel, so they're the copycats, which kind of makes it seem like the Romans should be correct and be the Marvel version of that. But we know Greek gods a lot more than Roman gods.
Roman gods, yeah.
The only reason why we know the names of any Roman gods is because of the planets, and that's it.
That's like the whole thing, yeah.
And
Why do you think the Greek gods have such a popular vote then?
Because they were first.
Oh.
And there's like a lot of tales of them. Like they explained a lot of things like
Greek mythology, I feel like, is a lot more. I mean, to be fair, I don't know any really Roman mythology off the top of my head, but I know Greek mythology is very, like, in depth.
Well, we get like a lot of shit from like that.
Yeah.
Like we name spiders after fucking Greek gods.
Arachne, yeah.
Yeah, we get that's all I can think of.
Yeah, we named the spiders out of that.
We get Hercules. We don't.
Okay, tantalizing. We've got Tantalus, the story of the dude that I don't remember his entire story, but he's in hell in Greek mythology, and he can't quite get to the things because he's like when something's just like too good, you can't have it. We get Narcissus from that.
Mm-hmm.
We get like freaking.
We got the stories of Apollo and Eros and Athena. We get
Does Odysseus? Oh, sorry.
Let me just say, we know a lot more about the tale of Hercules and his wisecracking Danny DeVito assistant rather than, the story of, I don't know, Gladiator.
Heracles.
Who's even seen that movie, Nick? Yeah, who even knows about the slave rebellion?
Ooh, here's an interesting thing. So with Greek mythology and Norse mythology, I don't know if you all know quite a lot about that.
I know a basic amount about Norse mythology. I have enough to like hold conversation.
I was about to say, like, if you could choose between the two, but I think Norse mythology is
Norse mythology.
Just some pretty ass stuff.
The reason that I wouldn't want to, I like Norse mythology a lot, and I've learned a lot about it through many different sources. But I want
God of War.
Yeah, I mostly God of War. But there's also, I mean, I used to do a lot of research on it because I was really interested. But God of War taught me a lot too because I didn't know a lot about Ragnarok, which is like half of what it's based on. But more so to the point, like Greek mythology, I would rather live in that world because if I die, then I can still go to heaven if I didn't die fighting.
That's kind of ironic compared to Norse mythology. Like, you go to heaven if you die fighting.
Yeah, you have to die fighting.
Yeah.
Like, that just seems like, like, unpleasant. Like, what if you're old and you're just like,
shut up!
I gotta go pick a fight with a young boy so he kills me.
Well,
They actually
could
made
probably just be like a bowman in a chair. That'd probably be enough.
That's a Bloodborne boss. No, it's
figured
also
it out.
kind of ironic that the Greeks managed to conquer, like, second to the most amount of square land spacage in the world next to the Mongolians with that sort of religious, like, thought. Like, the hoplites had to believe that, alright, if I die in battle, I'm not going to heaven, so I better not fucking die. Or
Well,
else Hades is gonna take me down.
I don't know that they don't have to die in battle. It just like they can. I think they can die in battle in Greek because Sparta.
Yeah.
There's more specific
Sparta's-
circumstances.
But like I
for-
think it's
Sparta
more
was-
you just have to be dedicated to like gods and the causes of those gods.
Well, Sparta was, it had the same religion, but Sparta was different than Greece. They were the different places for the longest time. They kept invading each other's asses until eventually, Alexander the Great came down with the Macedonians and
Yeah.
like took everyone the fuck out.
Yeah.
And then, of course, we all know the Floopin Persians, I think, took over his empire or whatever. I can't remember.
They were part of it for sure.
Yeah, and then the Greeks spread off and started the Phoenicians, and the place that I really hate in Carthage. There we go. The place I really hate in Civ 5, and then the southern Greeks, the Etruscans, and the Latin tribe formed Rome, and became the Romans.
Woohoo!
You know what? And they're probably not going to get this, but in the many years that I've known you,
Yeah.
I think you would be a great historian.
No.
Yes,
Yeah.
you would be the greatest lore keeper in the world.
Aww, I should have paid attention more then.
Throughout the years, this man right here knows whether it's like small useless facts to like even just like the tiniest or greatest of like big points in history. He just gets. He just gets. I always learn something new. I'm constantly in school with Logan.
Except for recently, when you graduated.
I don't want him to give me homework. I'm done with homework.
Yeah, you're done permanently with homework. You lucky son of a...
Which is
I mean,
pretty-
I am too.
It's pretty gratifying.
Yeah. But I had to give you the compliment. Let them know.
Aw,
Hey,
thank
if
you.
you guys want to know any internet information, he's got the one to have it.
And also, some fun facts. One, I believe it was the Sumerians who were the first, like, real civilization instead of all the city-states that were in the Saudi Arabia area of the world. And then the Babylonians, and then the Canadians were... both over
Canadia?
there.
They were pretty close up there.
Yeah, so, and then written law was written on pillars instead because they didn't have paper, so they just like etched their fingernails right into the fucking wall and
And the
made
Canadians and the Canadians would write their laws in maple syrup.
They would, which means, yeah, they didn't have paper, so what else? And then they eventually all got conquered by the Persians, who were like the first like real civilization in the Middle East, and then they fought with the Greeks, obviously. Phoenicians were off, hooked on phonics.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that comes from the word Phoenician.
Oh.
I can't remember the reason why, but there is a good reason why. And meanwhile, Egypt is over there. Egypt ain't doing jack shit. Like, they're surrounded by desert
They're
and
sitting
like
there
fucking walls. They're like, no one's invading
They're
us?
just
Alright,
working on-
cool.
They're like, hey, I have a feeling we're gonna have to make some big triangles eventually. So like,
Yeah,
let's make some
yeah.
big old bricks.
Yeah, they're like, fuck you, Nubia. And then they go and fuck over the Nubians. And China is doing the exact same thing as Egypt is doing.
China was living up in the pottery life.
And then the Celtics were doing things. I'm
I'm
very certain of it. So were the Goths. Yeah,
The
history is fucking cool.
It kind of makes you wonder, like, do you think that, at least back in those times, do you think they were as bored as we might feel now in our modern,
Nah.
capitalistic freaking...
Well, now that I
Not
work,
capitalistic, I don't know.
now that I work outside, toiling the land instead of working at a place where I'm surrounded by video games and booze and TV and music,
Yeah.
and friends, I can safely say no because you can't be bored if you're working. Like,
Yeah.
There's nothing else to do but work. So,
I guess that's true.
and then eat for a little bit, and then maybe have sex with your terrible wife, and then go to bed.
Your
Like-
arranged marriage wife.
Yeah,
Ugh.
it's like they didn't really know the perspective on it. Like, what else is there to do other than improve your lifestyle a little bit by helping build something?
I can't imagine how many people who are like... Again, it must have been a different time, but I can't imagine like one of those people who are like, by nature, just hate being in the same place, doing the same thing day in and day out. But I'm pretty sure food is a really great motivator, especially
Yeah.
with like...
Yeah, especially when like your dinner for the night was like a loaf of bread that took all day to make.
Instead of like, oh, I could just go get us some delicious Cool Ranch Doritos.
Yeah, they had to like see like I must go get the wheat from the field and I must grind the wheat into flour and then I must I must bring the water to the wheat and make sure it's clean enough to make good bread. And
As it says in the Bible, which has just been written by J.K. Rowling, it was an Oprah bestseller.
And then Jesus was gay.
It's fucking also funny to know that, like, throughout history, like, there are all these, like, little amenities and stuff like that, but it's interesting to see how, like, each gets taken away over time just by a small Judea tribe. That's what it was originally known as.
Oh.
Yeah, this was, like, one of the tribes that, originally, like, when it started out, just like the Sumerians and whatnot, they were just someone who survived significantly longer and significantly, like, had a bigger mass than everyone else, than the, like, tinier ones that were lost in the sands of time. And the only reason why they survived is because of one friggin' emperor who had a dream about, at the time, a Christian symbol, which is like those, like, a little three, like, it's like a wheel almost, and it's got like a P on it or something like that. He had a dream about it, and then, like, he woke up and he saw one of the slaves writing it in the sand, and, like, one of the Jewish slaves, and he's like, "What the fuck is that?" "Oh, that's the Christian symbol right there." So originally Christianity was just a part of Judaism, or it's like a sect before it became its own religion. He's like, "Oh, well, that's a sign," and he painted it on all of his warrior shields right as Rome was about to fall into different empires. And it was like 4 different groups, like the southeast, southwest, northwest, and northeast, which was the Roman area. As they all went to war, he painted them on his soldiers' shields, saw a comet paint across the sky, and then he was like, "I'm gonna fucking win." And then he won, and he killed all of his enemies, and then remasked the Roman Empire. But
What?
yeah, but then he was like, "Everyone worship God now."
Is that when it became the Holy Roman Empire?
That was with Charlemagne. Charlemagne did that in the 700s because the Pope realized he didn't have enough power. But he was like, maybe if I told him he was the Holy Roman Empire and that he owned a lot more land than he really did, then maybe I could own that land in a way through religion. So he crowned him Holy Roman Empire, or Emperor, and he controlled Germany and France. And then that passed on more and more. I'm related to him. And yeah, eventually, like, it bounced around, became the national religion. And freaking the Pope was moved to France at one point. Fucking history, man! It's awesome!
I was about to say.
What this just made me think of, as far as just other stuff we could do? What if we did a Let's Play of Crusader Kings 2?
Oh!
Because I mean, I'm really bad at it.
What's that?
Because there's... Okay, so have you ever played... so you're familiar with Civilization?
Yes.
Yeah.
And you're familiar with... there's another game I like it a lot, too. That's
Mountain Blade.
Mountain Blade Warband.
I've heard about it, but I've never played that one either.
So pretty much it's like these two games had a child that's like you are a member of a royal family, and there's like all these different like states and stuff and different rulers of each one, and you have to like play political games. It's like Game of Thrones as an actual game.
And which is funny because there's a lot of
Game of Thrones mods for it.
Which is awesome because you get to download the map and everything. It takes a long time to get into, which is why I was thinking we could play
Yeah, I want to learn how to do it first, definitely.
Actually, you know what's one that we should play, because it's also very historically accurate, is Kingdom Come Deliverance.
Yeah.
Oh,
you
dude.
and I were freaking out about that game before it came out.
I remember,
and then
we
we
saw
came
the
out
ad for it at,
we saw the ad for it at a local store in our town of blank, and the store is called blank!
That's my favorite store.
Just make your job a little bit easier.
Respect.
But we saw Giant TV advertising it, and it just looked like historically accurate Skyrim, and we all wanted to play it, and it took for butt fucking ever to come out.
Yeah.
It really did, and once it came out...
I completely missed it.
I mean, it's not like I was disappointed. Everything that I wanted in that game really happened. Like, it is the most accurate game as far as historical depictions goes. It's well made as hell. Like, there's so many little factors that go into everything, but I just don't... I got, like, stuck on one part, which is a part that I should not have been stuck on. But once I got stuck on it, I was like, I got some other stuff to play.
I don't have the strength to continue on.
Yeah, I don't have the time or the strength. Have you ever like played a video game like that where you're like sitting down and you're not quite immersed into the game yet because you're just looking around your room and you're like, I should be walking my dogs right now.
Every now and then.
Well, not even that. Like, the only time that gets me is when, like, a game just, like... Usually it happens to me with, like, games that I really wanted to play, but they're just not as good as I always thought they were. And I'm just, like...
Yeah,
you're kind of bored with the game, so you're, like, thinking about other stuff that you could be doing, and it's just...
Yeah.
You finally have an excuse at some point.
That happened to me with Dragon Age Inquisition. Like, every
dude,
time
I could not get into Dragon Age Inquisition. It's just not my type of game.
my mom has beaten that game 15
I know,
times.
it blows my mind.
Yeah,
my
your mom is
mom-
dedicated to that series and
My-
Mass Effect.
My mom is almost 50, and she is a way more hardcore gamer than I am as far as Mass Effect and Dragon Age go, and Skyrim. She will whoop anyone's ass if most of them had multiplayer features.
I honestly feel the same way. Well, okay, in a similar way to Persona 5, actually. I had our friend Blank borrow the game.
He's talking about Nick.
And I dedicated like because I'm fresh from the game, didn't want to spoil it for me. And with Smash coming out, or the character for Smash coming out, and all this talk about it, and everybody's played it, I was like, oh yeah, I'll give it a shot. But I felt that exact same way because I sessioned 2 days to get through the first dude.
Oh, yeah.
And I was like, oh my god, in this game about time management, I really should be doing something with my time.
Yeah.
And I it's been a while. I feel like that's a game I'll have to take in strides.
I really like that game. I will say, like, every now and then I take a really long hiatus from it.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Like,
But
it's
I always
just one
come
of those
back
things
is
where
the
it's
thing. I always come back.
It's always the hardest when you take a long hiatus from a game.
And
also,
then you completely forget how to play it.
yeah, and then you're like, well, I have to start again now.
Yeah.
Also, the Smash Bros. Character that Jeff was talking about from Persona 5 was Blank!
Also, speaking of Blank, I was looking at our podcast earlier because I was messing around with Premiere, and it like shows you how many times you used a particular clip, and I used the censor bar an average of 90 to 100 times in each podcast.
It's pretty average. We'll get the hang of it. We're just gonna start saying blank for the
Blank!
I can't blank believe you did that.
I mean, I got a sailor's mouth for sure.
Oh, me too.
Like,
me too.
That's 1.5 times a minute.
Good.
How can you do that?
Good.
Just fuck.
There should be a compilation of me saying blank. By blank I mean fuck. By the end of. It should be like one of those things where it's like, every time guy inhales in like mattress commercial where he's like,
Or when Trump is like beginning a sentence like.
yeah, over and over. It's just gonna be
It's just
me
gonna be
like
every time Logan says fuck.
yeah. That'll be for the Patreon like $50 an hour.
Yeah, that'll be our exclusive video.
Yes,
But,
every time I say fuck.
I am working on like a blooper reel right now for patrons. I want to say from $10 up and more. I'm working on like all the little weird outtakes that we have because some of them are so good.
Oh, they really
But
are.
like I just was like, this doesn't fit with the rest of it. I gotta cut this out.
Yeah.
Oh, you know what we should do for that if you still have it is like the sound clip of me playing like that headphone game and that didn't make it to the final cut.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
If we can find it.
Yeah.
He would have had to keep it.
The
if he chose
kicker
to keep
there
it.
is that the camera
Who
just
knows?
wasn't recording.
Maybe he thought it wasn't funny, so maybe he deleted it.
Maybe I thought you were
I was
dumb.
funny as hell during that. Okay. Sorry. Funny as blank. Rule of threes.
Funny as blank.
I also want to say is that before I lose the thought of that, is that I just like a game where I can immerse myself to the point where I've actually got something important to do, and I'm like, no, I gotta do this one thing in this game first.
He's
Just
like, I just gotta do
one more thing.
Just one more thing.
And then I'll go do my thing, and I end up late for my thing, and I'm like, sorry, I was just having fun.
See, that's how Red Dead 2 got me. Like, I was just like, oh, dude, I'm gonna go do this. Oh, dude, I'm gonna go do this. Oh, man, I'm gonna go do this.
Yeah.
Well, I gotta do this really quick.
Yeah, I feel that way with Kingdom Hearts 3 right now, because they just released their critical mode, so it's like crazy, like borderline, very angrily difficult.
Critical mode.
But I'm the same way. I'm like, oh, I'm gonna farm a little bit, or oh, I'm gonna get through this world, and I'm like, oh god, it's time to do this, and this. But honestly, as much like anxiety-inducing it can be, especially when it takes up a lot of your time on accident, those are the games that I cherish.
Yeah,
Oh,
like
yeah.
Dark Souls.
Like
for
Dark
instance.
Souls, exactly.
I'm doing
like
that
Dark
right now.
Souls.
I got my Switch over there, like to the left of me on a chair, because I've been like just powering through that game as a deprived on my 6th run. Never beaten that game according to my friends.
He's never. Hey, do
No one
not let
can-
him tell you
we
differently.
can't
He
prove
is-
it.
I
he has
have beaten
never
that
beaten
game
it.
Not
5 times.
No, it hasn't. No, he hasn't.
God damn it.
Maybe the other ones, but Dark Souls 1, you have not beaten it yet.
I can't even remember what even started that. No matter what happens.
Oh, because you
I-
accidentally said you hadn't beat Dark Souls once, and then I never let you forget it.
Yeah.
I promise you, I'm going to screenshot it when I beat it for the 6th time, because I beat it on the PS2.
Yeah, because you didn't download that screenshot from the internet.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll fucking put myself in the screenshot.
Yeah,
You
because you
also-
can't just Photoshop that in.
I'll-
Yeah.
No, I can't.
We know your secret skills.
I use a Windows 2000. I can't Photoshop that in. I can MS Paint it in. But there would be, in that screenshot, if I used MS Paint from 2000, there'd be way more funny clip art in there. Like, fat man laughs and drinks beer, a school bus with children, stop sign, and maybe pencil with face.
Wow.
Whoa.
But I beat it on PC. I beat it once on PS3, twice on Xbox, and once on copy machine.
On a you're just faxing the controls to the other side, and then it would fax back what the enemy was
What
doing.
the enemy did. It goes frame by frame. It took 2 years.
to get the first section.
Stop. I didn't even sleep, eat, drink.
4-day.
Mom, get off the phone!
Cue the
It
AOL.
would appear that
dial
he's
tone.
pulling back a bow. Side B?
I pick up the phone on the fax machine and I call the dude that I'm faxing it to, and he's like, "Hello, mate. Can we just skip this? I killed the boss." "All right, mate. Boss is killed. I'll send you the screenshot. Here's your inventory." "All right, thank you. I'll call you again for the next boss."
But the screenshot is made out of like the type.
like Dwarf Fortress Linux.
Yeah.
Also, I gotta say, Dwarf Fortress is up there for games that I really love but can't play.
I'm fascinated by it, but based on everything I've seen of it, I don't think I'd be able to play it
It's
without
gotta
like,
be
a lot.
those graphical mods.
Oh, graphics mods are really easy to install.
Well,
It's
yeah,
all
I mean-
free, but at the same time, it's like, so like, you gotta, it's like one of those other games that we were just talking about. Once
Like-
you forget how to play Dwarf Fortress and you go back, you're gonna have to start everything back over again.
Yeah, that's too much of a hassle.
But once you do get into it, you would be surprised over the funny, cool shit. Like, I had a fortress once where a guy came into his friend's room and then carved a image of him killing his friend and then proceeded to kill his friend. And then,
And then told everyone that he was a future teller.
Yeah, and then he proceeded to eat mushrooms over his body while people cleaned up his body and left, and he just sat there, and he felt very happy about it. I've had people go insane. I've had giant spiders escape from my mine and kill half my fortress. Like, I've had so many fortresses get destroyed from stupid bullshit, and I'm like, wow, that was fun. Let's do it again. It's like a little torture adventure. You literally play God. It's just
You're just
nice.
like, wow.
Yeah, the amount of
Well, there's a mode where you could just control one dude, right?
Yeah, that's the adventurer mode, and you could do like crazy things. Like this guy, Seth Szechuan, I think is his name. He took control of one dude, a kobold, who went and found the nearest king of a nearest empire and proceeded to kill him. And they rewarded his regicide with monarchy. They made him king. And for the entirety of his rule, all he did was spread rumors about himself to all the other people that the king was murdered by him. And every single person was like, this guy's a fucking idiot. No way. Like, you saw him. You saw him do it. Like,
Come on now.
I just can't believe how detailed and complex that is.
oh,
And that's the one of millions of ways that game could go.
yeah, like it literally, every single little dwarf that you have in that game has its own backstory, and this backstory spans pages. Like its religion, its height, its exact description on how it looks, what it enjoys, what it hates, how it's currently feeling, if it's sick, if it's being possessed right now, if it's afraid of goblins.
Important details.
Yeah, clearly. Am
Yeah,
I being possessed?
It's dick size. Sorry. It's nope. Rule 3s can't do it again.
Blank.
Blank.
Like,
Burp. Fucking. It does so much, and like you could use that to your advantage and pair it up with other dwarfs, or like make it do a different job. Assign it pets. Put it in your army. Controlling armies in that game is not like an RTS either. You gotta like use the keyboard entirely to assign them to a special group that has to go into a room where they train, and by training they just throw objects at them until they eventually come out really good at dodging objects. It's a real like if you could dodge a wrench, you could dodge a goblin with a spear. Sort of. If you could dodge traffic, you could dodge a goblin with a spear.
Whoa.
Yeah, so you put them in a murder room where they just get their asses whooped for like weeks, if not months and years on end until they are like Captain America strong. And like you could have armies of them. Some people have like 200-man armies of like these dwarfs, and when kobolds and like goblins come to go and invade them, even orcs or elves or humans sometimes, like there's nothing they can do. They're Spartans. And you could assign them with any possible weapon. You could teach them wrestling. You could assign them like war dogs. Like there's about like so many different things that you can put them. You could even dress them up in like you get to assign each little article of their clothing if you'd like to. You just got to buy them from the merchant.
That's
Holy
cool.
crap.
Yeah, I fucking love this game. It's just that just like Sekiro, my brain it's not built for that.
But that baffles me. How could you even handle a game like Dwarf Fortress, yet you can't press a button at a right time from a visual cue?
Because I could pause Dwarf Fortress and plan it out. If I could pause Sekiro halfway through and be like, alright,
You can't.
I'd probably have like, how?
Sekiro genuinely pauses.
It genuinely
doesn't
pauses.
Like, it doesn't
No,
do like the Dark
I mean
Souls.
like pause like I could still see the samurai so I could gauge when he's going to hit me and maybe like slow down time a little bit to where I could block perfectly, not like go to the menu.
Oh, you can't do it like
Yeah.
real time.
Like
was
I'm
gonna say-
tired of being calm all the goddamn time.
Well, I mean that you could say the same for Bloodborne though, and you beat Bloodborne.
Yeah, Bloodborne is easier than Sekiro though.
Yeah, Bloodborne allows you to dodge and move
It's
out
still
of the
a
way.
very hard game.
You can still dodge in Sekiro. You just
Oh,
have
yeah.
to be really good at it.
Yeah, I was gonna say,
Not as well.
You have
But
to
like
be-
for certain attacks you have to jump, obviously you
Yeah.
have to dodge or you have to deflect. It's just that's like I don't know how I want to say I'm sorry,
No,
but I
no.
don't know for what.
better be sorry.
But that makes
I
sense.
feel like Jennifer Lawrence after like the fappening.
No, but that makes sense. You have your strength and you can think and plan, but that's the thing, planning. It's the reaction that is
Yeah.
what it sounds like is struggle.
I can plan if given the time, but I don't have time in Sekiro. It's very fast paced. And I'll like say till like the day I die, this game rewards like quick timing rather, not quick time events, quick timing. And
I hope-
Bloodborne rewards aggression, and Dark Souls rewards careful thought.
I hope we end up playing a Sonic game because I would love to see that
Hands
in your hands.
blank.
Blank. Like Sonic Unleashed or something like that, where you have to like
I want to play.
react
Let's
to.
play Shadow the Hedgehog.
I want.
Yes,
I want to play Sonic Adventure 2. Honestly,
that's
Oh.
a good one. I don't care what anybody says. It's hilariously good.
Jeff is in love with Sonic the Hedgehog and his big buff hairy legs now.
Oh yeah. Oh well, did you hear that they're changing that?
Yeah, well, it's great. They're going to pay they're not going to pay an animation studio to fix Sonic for one dumbass's mistake.
I don't know whose idea it was, and I don't understand why.
We got the name of him.
Oh,
Because
Can
he's
you do that?
defended it. He's like, I want this to make it look like Sonic, but in the real world. Like, I want him to be as realistic as possible. I'm like, he's a blue runner!
yeah, he's a blue cartoon hedgehog with one eyeball.
Yeah, with one eyeball.
One eyeball.
Two
With
pupils,
two
one
pupils.
eyeball.
How do you make that thing into a realistic scenario?
His ocular ports look like if you crack 2 eggs in the frying pan and they connect by yolk.
Honestly, though, I don't know.
So sorry. I kicked the table.
Okay,
Out of anger over Sonic. I tasered and pepper sprayed a woman in a GameStop because she said Sonic's arms were blue.
that's unfortunate. Poor Chris Chan.
Christina
But, like,
Chan, go fuck yourself.
I saw a bunch of people that just like even just modified it in like their own Photoshop program and made it look like a million times better.
Oh, like a trillion. The only way that Sonic could look better is if it was like a Rule 63 version of Sonic where it was a swap gender. Like someone also photoshopped that to where I think it was actually Shadman
Explain
that did
yourself.
that. So Shadman, sorry, blank. He's a famous artist who does really fucking raunchy shit. Like, oh my god. And he, good lord, he's found my fetishes. He posted a fucking pictures of his CG rendition of female Sonic the Hedgehog, and it actually did not look terrible if it was its own standalone character. Not like actually Sonic the Hedgehog, but a girl, but rather like a new character in the Sonic the Hedgehog universe that was maybe just like Sonic's sister, Sonic Alina. And it would have been fine. But otherwise than that, there's no way that you can make a male Sonic the Hedgehog with a voice like that in a movie like this look alright and not expect people to get mad. Like, go ahead and throw on the real looking Sonic. I'm still not going to like this movie.
I don't know. I mean, obviously, I can't help but be a little biased because I've grown up with Sonic for such a long time, but it's one of those movies where I cannot wait because it's one of those hilariously, bad ones. You
It's
know
like
what
a
I mean?
-4 to a -7.
Yeah.
Yeah, like, remember, and I'm not saying this one was bad, but do you remember when we saw Power Rangers?
Oh,
Yeah,
the
dog.
Yeah.
That made me mad because I was a little smoked up on blank at the time. And I... yeah, you can't hold me in a court about that.
Hey, you got any of that blank?
I was only blank years old, so it was technically blankle. But I did that previously with Guardians of the Galaxy 2, and I had high hopes. I was like, Bryan Cranston's in this? Oh my god, it's got all these CG effects? But instead I went in stoned, and I just nitpicked, and I critiqued every little thing. I hated all... The pink Power Ranger is a bitch, okay?
Yeah.
She does not deserve to be a Power Ranger. Oh, so I forced a kid to kill himself. Oh, everyone makes mistakes. I can't remember her real reason, but I think she bullied a kid out of school by
I
sharing her
remember.
nudes or whatever.
Yeah.
No, I remember. I have
and-
a whole bit all around it. You remember?
Yeah.
That I made. But anyway, before it gets too lost. But that's the way you kind of have to think about it, especially with these kinds of movies. And we already kind of went on a rant on movies a while ago. But again, to give the benefit of the doubt, how hilariously bad does that Sonic model look?
Oh my god. Actually, I would have preferred it.
Right? And who is the what's the name of the main guy right now?
He plays he's Jack Lemmon in Anchorman 2. He's Tina Fey's boyfriend in 30 Rock. He's just like handsome McDouchebag who gives a fuck.
Exactly. But you've seen those posts with the side-by-side picture of him and Sonic in the car,
Yeah.
and then him and that rabbit from that one...
Hop?
Hop, yeah.
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 And
Stuff like that.
He's got some weird friends.
Yeah. And holy crap, Jim Carrey as Eggman?
I'm actually excited for that.
That's the one element I'm like hyped for.
That's
Yeah.
what I'm saying. If you
'Cause-
can bring all that bad stuff like together, and I know this is probably just the peaceful man devil's advocate type of thing, but oh my god, it's gonna be so funny. It's gonna be so hilariously bad.
Yeah.
And with the little amount, I'll finish up real quick.
No problem.
And with the little amount of time that they have to fix and reanimate, and if what they're doing is true, to this model, oh man, it's gonna be another Sonic 06. It's just gonna be rushed. It's just gonna be looking pretty, but it's gonna be so bad that we will all be able to laugh at it hardcore.
Well, Jeff's monologue right there, I think that's a good place to...
That's a good place to wrap it. Thanks for tuning into the podcast.
Go watch the Sonic movie.
Go home. Go see your mother again. She's worried. Please.
Please.
Put your clothes back on, sweetie. It's cold outside. You don't need to sell your body anymore. Your papa and I will take care of you.
And if I could
like, comment, subscribe, Patreon.
Do it.
Instagram, Facebook, Twitter.
Get out! Bye!